Alrighty y'all, it's Renee here and it's time for another tutorial. Today we're going to be doing this little tea or coffee mat. It's just kind of like a miniature placemat with appliques on it. Really cute, fun, easy to do. As you can see, I've included a list of materials that you're going to need. And the first thing we're going to do is make 2 copies of our applique so that we can cut out the individual pieces. And you can just get those from anywhere online, or you can draw them freehand. It's just all up to you how you want to do it. Alright, the next thing I'm doing here is I'm taking this fusible interfacing. I'm actually just going to trace my pieces on there. It makes it a lot easier than trying to cut the fabric out and then put it on the interfacing. So I'm just doing each piece, and I decided here at the end to do a couple of little hearts. Just did those freehand, didn't get a pattern or anything for that. Alright, so once I've got my little pieces cut out from the interfacing, I'm going to get the fabric out, and I'm going to be pressing the pieces onto the fabric and just place them kind of where you want them. You know, if you want certain parts of the pattern to show, it's really easier to do it this way. Alright, to make the actual placemat pattern, all I did was use a piece of printer paper, and I folded it a little more than halfway over, leaving a couple of inches overlapping. And then you just want to kind of test it out, you know, laying your pieces on there, making sure it's going to fit okay. And if you don't like that size, you can always change it, make it a little bigger, even a little smaller. But I like the way mine worked out, so the next thing I did was cut out 2 pieces of coordinating fabric to go with it. And I've got a piece of cotton batting here and a piece of fusible interfacing, and I do use Pellon number 809. So I press the interfacing onto the back piece of the mat, and then I will be putting the quilted piece, the cotton batting, on the front piece. And I'm not gonna sew that cotton batting to that until I've got my applique pieces worked out. I found that worked easier for me. It seems like it's a little messier if you try to sew the 2 outer pieces of the mat together before you do this step. So I'm just doing 1 layer at a time, and what I did is kind of skip over the stitching where I had an extra layer, like for the little edge piece around the saucer. I sewed it on afterwards, and that way you don't have double layers of thread, and it can get a little messy that way and a little harder to do. But everything came together better this way. Okay, so once I've got all my applique pieces on there, I'm going to put the 2 layers together, and that's going to be with wrong sides facing together. We don't have to do any turning for this project, so it makes it a lot easier for measurements and things too. So you can see I've got those 2 pieces there, and what I'm going to do is sandwich them together, and then I'm going to sew all along the edges just to hold everything together before I put that bias tape on there. It's just going to keep it together nice and pretty. So I'm going to do that. And once I've done that, what I'm going to do is trim around those edges just to make sure that everything is nice and neat so that it doesn't cause any problems when I get ready to add this bias tape. And I'm using Sewology bias tape that I got on sale at Hobby Lobby. And I'm not even going to cut it. I'm not going to do any measuring for that. It's just going to be a lot easier. So we're sandwiching the edges of this mat into the bias tape. And we're just going to take our time there so that this turns out nice and pretty, and the first edge will be raw, but when you get to the end of it, you'll do that little fold over and you never know it was there. So I'm just taking my time and getting those edges right, and what we do is we stop at each edge, sew all the way to that corner there, and then you do that little turn that makes that nice pretty little edge. Alrighty y'all, so there's our nice little pretty tea or coffee mat, and this is a lot of fun. You can work with different colors, just play it how you want it. Peace y'all, bye bye.